They laughed at María Vasquez, the quiet maid in gray. Even Viktor Kozlov, Russia's most feared assassin, dismissed her calloused hands and flawless Spanish as harmless. But Maria wasn't hired to clean. Her real name was Agent Elena Vasquez, CIA Special Activities Division. They thought she was invisible. What they didn't know was that she had spent 6 years mapping every hallway, every blind spot, and every weakness. By the time Dmitri bled out in the basement and Volkov collapsed in the parking garage, it was already too late. Elena stood outside room 237, cart in place, gun loaded. She knocked once. "Housekeeping," she said. No accent, no smile. And just like that, the mission ended. "We read every single comment, so tell us where you're watching from and what time you found this. And don't forget to subscribe." The leather of my custom holster creaks as I, Viktor Kozlov, settle into room 237. The Grand Plaza's crystal chandeliers mock our presence. 3 of the world's deadliest operatives hiding in plain sight. 20 years of wet work, and something feels different tonight. Wrong. The door opens with that soft click I've heard 1,000 times before. The housekeeper enters, her movements triggering every instinct I've honed since Moscow. Too precise, too measured, like a dancer performing a deadly ballet. "Room service," she announces, her accent perfectly local. But her eyes, they sweep the room with military precision. My hand instinctively tightens on my Makarov, its familiar weight usually comforting. Not tonight. The subtle clink of her cleaning cart's metal frame echoes like a death knell. Dmitri and Pavel, my most trusted men, seem oblivious. But they haven't survived as long as I have. Haven't developed my 6th sense for danger. I straighten my titanium watch, a trophy from my first successful hit in Prague. Its face catches the chandelier's light, throwing diamonds of brightness across the wallpaper. A habit born of pride, now a tell of growing unease. "The towels go in the bathroom," I command, testing her. Her movements don't falter, but something flickers in her eyes. Recognition? Anticipation? My phone buzzes. A message appears. "Check YouTube, #HotelHunter." The trending video shows security footage from the lobby. Our arrival, time-stamped 1 hour ago. 3 million views already. The housekeeper's cartwheels squeak as she turns. "Of course, Mr. Kozlov." My name, my real name, slides from her lips like a bullet from a silencer. We chose this hotel for its anonymity, yet I can't shake the feeling we're exactly where someone wants us to be. 20 years of playing the hunter, but tonight feels different. When did the predator become prey? Like this video if you've ever felt the hunter become the hunted. Comment below. What happens next to Viktor Kozlov? The air conditioning hums, masking the sound of my accelerating heartbeat. I catch her reflection in the mirror. Her hands don't tremble like a regular housekeeper's would under my scrutiny. They move with the steady precision of someone who's dealt death before. The question haunts me like a ghost. Have I finally met someone better at this game than me? "Your reputation precedes you, Mr. Kozlov," she says, straightening a pillow with mechanical precision. "Though I expected someone taller." The insult is calculated, designed to provoke. I won't give her the satisfaction. Instead, I polish my watch again, its surface reflecting her movements. One wrong move, that's all I need. But deep in my gut, a feeling I haven't experienced since my first mission in Sarajevo begins to grow. Fear. Not of death. We're old friends, death and I. No, this is the fear of being outplayed. Of discovering you're not the apex predator you thought you were. His burner phone vibrates with an encrypted message from Moscow Center. Routine status update request. Viktor Kozlov's fingers hover over the keypad, knowing his next response could either save or condemn his team. The protocol demands immediate confirmation of operational security, but 20 years of instinct scream for evacuation. The housekeeper passes their door again, her cart's wheels now making the faintest whisper against the carpet. Viktor Kozlov's compass feels heavy with unspoken warnings. In the polished brass surface, he catches a distorted reflection of the corridor. And for a fraction of a second, he swears he sees Maria's eyes meet his in the warped metal. Sharp and knowing. A new message appears on his laptop. Facial recognition software finally matching Maria's image against classified databases. The results make Viktor Kozlov's blood run cold. The file is heavily redacted, but one detail blazes like a death sentence. Agent Elena Vasquez, CIA Special Activities Division. The hunter has become the hunted, and Viktor Kozlov realizes their greatest weakness isn't their tactics or their intel. It's their inability to believe they could be outplayed at their own game. The shadows they relied on for decades have become their prison, blinding them to threats hiding in plain sight. Viktor Kozlov's fingers trembled as he reviewed the security footage for the 18th time, his legendary composure cracking like thin ice. The master keycard sounds from the recordings felt like death knells now, each electronic beep marking another perfectly executed step in Elena Vasquez's long game. His prized Damascus steel knife, a symbol of his lethal precision for 15 years, felt cold and useless against his palm. The feed showed her cleaning rooms adjacent to every high-value target he'd eliminated over the past 6 years. She'd been watching, waiting, building her cover while he'd strutted through the Grand Plaza's marble halls like he owned them. Viktor Kozlov's throat tightened as he realized she'd probably been in the same room as him dozens of times, invisible in her uniform, cataloging his every move. "Sir, we've lost contact with Team B at the service entrance," his last remaining operative whispered, fear crackling through the radio. Viktor Kozlov's knuckles whitened around the knife handle. 3 hours ago, he'd had 12 men. Now only 2 remained, and the hotel's cameras showed nothing but empty corridors and normal guest activity. She was a ghost, using his own tactics against him. His phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. The surveillance video from his latest hit, him clearly visible executing a clean shot through the presidential suite's window. The caption read, "Check YouTube, Viktor." His name in her message felt like a bullet to the gut. The viral video was already at 2 million views. Had Kozlov killer trended worldwide, his carefully maintained anonymity shattered in 3 hours of systematic destruction. Comments flooded in. "Watch the world's deadliest assassin get played." His empire of shadows, built on fear and perfect execution, crumbled under the harsh light of exposure. "Sir?" The operative's voice shook. "The backup team isn't responding either." Viktor Kozlov's reflection in the security monitor showed something he hadn't seen in decades. Raw fear. The Damascus knife slipped from his sweating palm, clattering against the desk. She'd turned his playground into his prison, the hotel's labyrinthine corridors now a maze with no exit. A soft knock at the security office door froze his blood. "Housekeeping," Elena's voice sang through the wood, the same cheerful tone she'd used for 6 years while building his downfall. Viktor Kozlov's hand shook as he reached for his fallen knife, knowing it was already too late. Have you ever watched your perfect world unravel, thread by careful thread? Type ghost if you want to see how Elena Vasquez finishes her hunt. The security office lights flickered once, plunging Viktor Kozlov into darkness. In the pitch black, he heard the soft beep of a master keycard and knew his time had finally run out. Viktor Kozlov grips the silenced Makarov tighter, its familiar weight offering no comfort as the rhythmic squeak of plastic wheels echoes down the carpeted hallway of the Grand Plaza Hotel. The cleaning cart's approach sounds like a funeral dirge now, not the meaningless background noise it was just hours ago when he dismissed her as nothing more than hotel staff. His hands, steady through countless wet work operations, tremble slightly as his phone buzzes with Dmitri's death notification from the basement. The industrial washers still thunder below, masking the sounds of what must have been a brutally efficient execution. Viktor Kozlov, who has orchestrated dozens of perfect assassinations, finds himself cornered by a predator he never saw coming. The security feeds on his laptop show Volkov's final moments in the parking garage. A flash of movement, the glint of piano wire, and then stillness. His most experienced operator, eliminated by a woman pushing a cleaning cart. The irony tastes like ash in his mouth. For 20 years, Viktor Kozlov has survived by seeing the hidden dangers, by treating every shadow as a potential threat. But he had looked right through her, contempt blinding him to the deadliest operative he'd ever encountered. The cart stops outside room 237. Viktor Kozlov positions himself behind the bed, weapon trained on the door. His mind races through scenarios, calculating angles and trajectories like he has thousands of times before. But this feels different. For the first time in his career, he's not the hunter. He's the prey. Housekeeping, comes the call. The fake accent gone, replaced by crisp, professional English. The electronic lock whirs and clicks. Viktor Kozlov's finger tightens on the trigger as the door swings open. She stands there, still in that shapeless gray uniform, but her posture has transformed. Gone is the servile slouch, replaced by the coiled readiness of an apex predator. Their eyes meet across the room, professional to professional. You hid in plain sight, Viktor Kozlov acknowledges, a grudging respect in his voice. I never saw you coming. That was the point. She moves with liquid grace, the cleaning cart forgotten in the doorway. Your kind never sees us. The maids, the janitors, the invisible people who keep your world running. It makes our work so much easier. Viktor Kozlov's shot goes wide as she moves, faster than should be possible. His world narrows to desperate close-quarters combat, each exchange revealing how completely outmatched he is. She fights with the accumulated rage of 1,000 ignored workers, every strike carrying the weight of justice delayed but not denied. As his weapon skitters across the floor, Viktor Kozlov realizes that his greatest mistake wasn't underestimating her skills. It was underestimating her motivation. He had treated her role as mere cover, not understanding that it was the source of her power. His world of shadowy agencies and high-stakes espionage had been undone by the simple truth that the best hiding place is in plain sight, beneath society's contempt. The last thing Viktor Kozlov sees is her face, no longer hidden behind carefully crafted meekness. Housekeeping, she says again. And this time he finally understands the deadly promise in those words. Drop a 1 if you've ever underestimated someone who proved to be more than they seemed. His world goes dark to the sound of that cleaning cart's wheels, squeaking their way to the next room, carrying their deadly cargo of justice disguised as mundane supplies. In the end, Viktor Kozlov, master of shadows, falls to the most invisible person in plain sight. Viktor Kozlov stares at his distorted reflection in the polished elevator doors, his hands trembling as they brush against the cold metal wall. The bright fluorescent lights of the Grand Plaza Hotel's service corridor feel like an interrogation lamp, stripping away decades of carefully constructed shadows. His prized compass, once a symbol of unerring direction in the dark world of wet work, lies abandoned somewhere on the 15th floor, as meaningless now as his former certainties. The soft ding of a cleaning cart's bell echoes through the corridor, and Viktor Kozlov's heart nearly stops. It's the same gentle sound that had lulled him and his team into fatal complacency. That innocuous chime now carries the weight of a death knell. Agent Elena Vasquez approaches, still wearing her housekeeper's uniform, her practiced smile more terrifying than any weapon he's ever faced. 6 years, Viktor Kozlov whispers, his voice hoarse with revelation. 6 years of pushing that cart, waiting. How many others like me walked past you, never seeing? His words hang in the air as Agent Vasquez maintains her cover, methodically checking her cleaning supplies. The mundane ritual feels like elaborate torture. Time stretches like a garrote wire as Viktor Kozlov realizes the full scope of his failure. His entire team, professional shadows, ghosts who moved between worlds, eliminated one by a woman pushing a cleaning cart. No dramatic gunfights, no high-tech surveillance. Just patient observation and precise timing, using the invisible armor of ordinary life. We were dinosaurs, Viktor Kozlov admits, watching Agent Vasquez through new eyes. Still playing Cold War games while the world evolved. The greatest camouflage was never in darkness. It was in plain sight all along. His fingers instinctively reach for his missing compass, finding only empty pocket space. The security cameras capture everything, another layer of Viktor Kozlov's defeat. No mysterious disappearance for the history books, no dramatic last stand. Just a broken assassin surrendering to a housekeeper in a service corridor. Their final confrontation recorded in stark, corporate standard 4K resolution. Agent Vasquez finally breaks character, her practiced smile shifting to professional neutrality. The age of shadows is over, Mr. Kozlov. Welcome to the light. The words cut deeper than any bullet could, carrying the weight of an entire paradigm shift in his world. Viktor Kozlov's surrender video trends worldwide within hours. Kozlov Falls becomes a cipher for the end of an era, though most viewers never understand its true significance. The cleaning cart, with its cheerful bell intact, becomes a classified trophy in a sealed CIA archive, while his broken compass finds its way to a museum display about the evolution of espionage. Type "Light wins" if you believe the greatest victories happen in plain sight, scrolls across screens worldwide, as Viktor Kozlov's last mission becomes a viral parable about the changing nature of power and deception. In his holding cell, Viktor Kozlov runs his fingers over the smooth walls, finding strange comfort in their uncompromising visibility. We lost the moment we arrived, he confesses to his debriefers. Not because she was stronger or faster, but because she understood something we never did. The most dangerous predators don't hide in shadows anymore. They hide in uniforms, in routine, in the countless invisible roles that make our visible world function. The morning sun streams through his cell window, harsh and unforgiving. Viktor Kozlov closes his eyes, finally understanding that his greatest defeat came not from superior tactics or technology, but from a fundamental misreading of the modern battlefield. The shadows he trusted had become obsolete. while the light he feared had become his enemy's greatest weapon. Share this story if you've ever overlooked someone who proved to be extraordinary. Flashes across screens, as Viktor Kozlov's fall becomes a testament to the power of patience, adaptation, and the deadly efficiency of remaining hidden in plain sight.